Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept my most humble obeisances. We are continuing our seminar about the Tattva-sandarbha written by Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada. Six genius in one person, as we said in the very first session of this Tattva-sandarbha. He is trying to help us also to become real devotees, real Vaishnavas. Yet Shri Krishna Padam Bhoja Bhajanaika Bilashavan Tenaiva Drishatam Etan Anyasmai Shapithor Pitaha. He said in the sixth verse of the Mangala Charana that only those who wants to become Shri Krishna Padam Bhoja Bhajana Eka Abilashavan, who wants to become pure devotee, anibilasha shunyam, just to serve Krishna. Only such devotee can take part in the studying of Tattva-sandarbha. The rest are cursed by Srila Jiva Goswami. And then we say that Shri Krishna Padam Bhaja Bhajana Ega Abilashavan Jiva Goswami in Sarvajna, he softened that requirement. That yes, those who wants to become pure devotees. You might have some ulterior motives still, but Jiva Goswami, he has a hope that while studying Tattva-sandarbhas, like Tattva-sandarbha, Bhagavata-sandarbha, and the rest of the sandarbhas, you will become the pure devotee. Because he put his mercy in this book. And we spoke about this mood of Srila Prabhupada, who also allowed different people to come to his lectures, trying to instill the faith in their hearts by his compassion, his love, his happiness in Krishna consciousness. So that's the strategy of Srila Jiva Goswami, to make us pure devotees. And for that he is gradually, like as we said, step by step, one step, another step, another step, he make a foundation of all of our faith. First, by establishing that Shabda Pramana is higher than Pratyaksha Anumana and other Pramanas. Then he established that Vedic Shabda is the highest. And then he told about the quality of the Vedic Shabda, so that we could understand that this is the eternal, inconceivable, all-powerful means to understand eternal, inconceivable, and all-powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the Vedas, and we spoke about so many important, very important, maybe unusual for many of us, qualities of the Vedic Shabda. It's not just some books, it's much more. Like it was said that all the energies of the creation in some subtle form are there in the Vedas. So therefore they can give us the knowledge, Sarva-lokika, Alokika, Jnana Vidana Tvat. Jiva Goswami, he told in one of the Anushvedas that the Vedas, they are the source of all material and spiritual knowledge. So whatever you need, you can get from the Vedas. Vid dhatu means to know. You can know everything just by studying Vedas, and no need to trying to do it by some other means. There's the faith which we saw also in our great acharyas, such as Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Shankaracharya, and Srila Jiva Goswami. He quoted their opinion about the nature of the Vedas, and also we could see that the Goswamis of Vrindavan, or Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and Srila Prabhupada, they had such an unflinching faith in the Vedas. But then Jiva Goswami, he raised one very important question. Okay, yes, you convinced us that Vedas are the higher authority, but three reasons, as we said, dushparatvat, durvigam yatvat, that it's very difficult to find all Vedic literatures, because they are very vast, like so many things are there. They are unlimited. Krishna is unlimited, and Vedas, they are also unlimited. So dushparatvat means that it's very difficult to cross the river or the ocean the great ocean of the Vedas. It's impossible practically. But even if you do that, then dur abhigama tvat, that is very difficult to understand them, even if you have all the Vedas. It's difficult to understand. And then you might try to approach many commentaries on the Vedas, but different sages, they speak different things, and sometimes they contradict one another. So what to do? And then Jiva Goswami, he gives a solution. Okay, we have Puranas and Itihasas, which are also Apaurushaya. And in the yesterday class, we spoke about the nature of the Puranas, about their relationships with the original Vedas, Shruti and Smriti. And although they are different, but at the same time, they have the same Apaurushaya nature. And Jiva Goswami, he gave this very nice example that if you have a broken bangle, you won't try to to complete it with like golden bangle. You won't try to complete it with the something which is not gold, because it will be improper. So Purana means that what completes the message of the Vedas. And then he quoted this Madhyandina Shruti, or from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, where it is said that Puranas, Itihasas, and so on, they are also the emanation of the breathing of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And as He is eternal, His breathing is also eternal. And in the list there are Vedas, Riksama, Yajura, Dharma, Veda, Puranas, Itihasas, and so on. And then, so therefore they have the same nature. It's not like Krishna's inhaling and exhaling are different. Like He inhales spiritually and exhales materially. No, it's not like that. It's both spiritual breathing. So that's why they have the same nature. And then also because they are listed in one list, like Vedas, Itihasas, Puranas, and so on. So it should, according to the rules of logic, it will be improper to say that they belong to different categories. It should have been stated separately, like separately Vedas and separately Puranas and Itihasas. And then we told that when Lord Brahma was creating this material world as Vidhata, secondary creator, he also manifested from his mouth, different mouths, different heads, different parts of the Vedas. And it was one by one. But then, Sarvabhya eva vaktribhya, it was said that from all four mouths emanated one Purana and Itihasa, which was the fifth Veda. And then Jiva Goswami, he told he quoted many verses when they said Puranam Itihasam Panchanam Vedanam, that is the fifth Veda. We have four Vedas and we have the fifth Veda, Puranas and Itihasas. And also it was the quotation from the Skanda Purana, when it was said that Puranas, they are Sarvashastramayam Dhruvam, that they are the embodiment or the summary of all the Shastras, all the Vedic literatures. Then Puranas are, although they belong to the Smriti category, which means that from Kalpa to Kalpa, they might describe the absolute truth in different words, not like the Vedas, where each and every word and syllable should be stable. But then still in Skanda Purana it is said that they are also Dhruvam. Dhruvam means avikari, that they are not changing. And also Punyam, which means that they are very auspicious for those who study them. And it's therefore the Vedas are Nitya Shabda Mayam. They embody Purana and Itihasa. They embody the transcendental Shabda sound of the Vedas. So they are not like something which was created according to the historical events. As it was said that they manifested at one whole, and then they were divided into 18 Puranas. And we'll see today in one of the in the commentary to I think it's the 17 or 18 Anusheda, Srila Jiva Goswami, he quotes the list of all the main 18 Puranas, like, and they are grouped by 3 categories. Puranas for the people in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance, Sattva, Raja and Tama Guna, Sattvika Purana, Rajasika Purana and Tamasika Purana. And also, and Jiva Goswami is going to explain why is it so. And then also, like, before that we quoted some verses from the mostly from the Puranas, and somebody might say that okay, Puranas they glorify themselves, but it's not so. In Chandogya Upanishad, which is the Shruti Prasthana, it's one of the main Upanishads, Puranas and Itihasas, they are called Panchama Vedamam, which means the 5th Veda. And then Jiva Goswami he raised the question about maybe those Puranas and Itihasas which are referred in those Shruti statements, they are not the books which we know right now, Puranas and Itihasas, but maybe they are some parts of the original Vedas, Shruti. They are just called Purana and Itihasa, but actually those are Shruti mantras. And then he told, no, it's not like that. And then Jiva Goswami, therefore, he told that it's those books which we have available right now and which we know as Puranas and Itihasas, they are the scriptures which are which have the Apaurushaya authority. And then we told that how is it possible that Puranas and Itihasas they have the same Apaurushaya authority? They are the same, but they are different. So the relationship between Vedas like Shruti and Smriti is kind of Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. They are different and non-different at the same time. And how is it possible? How the Puranas can have change of the words or some kind of different descriptions of the same philosophy or same events, but at the same time to be Dhruvam, unchanging. So that's the part of the inconceivability of the Vedas, which Srila Jiva Goswami had to prove before. Otherwise, it would be we wouldn't be able to understand how is it possible that Puranas they change words and at the same time they are Dhruvam, unchanging. So this is what Jiva Goswami told about the Puranas right before. And now today we are going to continue the study of the what is there in the Puranas, why Puranas and Itihasas, how they came into existence, and how to prove that they are spiritual also, that are transcendental, that they convey the same message as the original Vedas. So, and as we said, because it's Achintya, it's inconceivable. Achintya khalu ye bhava atam starkina yojayat. Srila Jiva Goswami he already explained that the things which are inconceivable, you won't be able to understand it by tarka, by logic. But Svabhapi Ruchir Evasyat Krishna Tattva Vabodhika. Rupa Goswami tells that we need some rucha, some taste, some bhakti, some mercy in order to understand things as they are. And because the topic which we are going to describe today is also belongs to the category of achintya, inconceivable, so we like anything, we need this mercy. Mercy of Srila Jiva Goswami to our Guru Maharajas, to Srila Prabhupada, to the previous acharyas, to Krishna, to mercy of Krishna, Yoga Maya, Purnamasi, Vrinda Devi, Shrimati Radharani, and all Ashtasaki, Ashtamanjari, Ashtasakas, and so on. So we need their mercy. So let us pray to Acharya Vam Vijayanana Vamaneta Karkhachit Namartya Bhutha Suita Sarvadeva Mayo Guruhu in Levikanta Lord Krishna, he tells to Uddhava that Acharya is not different from himself, and Sarvadeva Mayo Guruhu, all the demigods, all the great sages, they manifest through the spiritual master, and therefore by praying to the spiritual master you can get the mercy of everyone in the spiritual world. It's like a channel through whom you can get their mercy. Okay. Om Gana Timirandhasya Ninanjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vancha Kalpataro Vishya Kripa Sindhu Yaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachavam Pangum Langate Girim Yat Kripata Maham Bande Shigurum Dinatarana. So we studied 12th and 13th Anucheda of Shri Tattva-sandarbha, and today I hope, if Krishna wishes, we'll study 14, 15, 16, 17 and 18th Anuchedas. As I said, that the most complicated part of Shri Tattva-sandarbha we have already passed. Now it's more or less easy, not actually easy, but still it's more comprehensible for us, more like common things which Srila Jiva Goswami is going to tell us, not like achintya nature of the scriptures or the Vedas, which is difficult even to conceive that it's possible to be like that. So in the 14th Anucheda, Jiva Goswami, he continues speaking about why Puranas, they are called the Panchama Vedamam. He tells, Panchamatve Karanam Cha Vayu Purani Suttavakyam. In the Vayu Purana, Sutta Goswami describes in the following words why the Itihasas and Puranas are considered the fifth Veda. He tells, the personality of Godhead, Srila Vyasadeva, then chose me as an authorized speaker of the Itihasas and Puranas. At first, there was only one Veda, the Yajur Veda. Vyasadeva divided it into four. Within these were manifested the ritual acts of the four kinds of priests, and Vyasadeva arranged for the performance of sacrifice accordingly. With the Yajur mantras, he arranged the acts of the Advaryu priests. With the Rig mantras, those of the Hota priests. With the Sama mantras, the Ugata priests, and with the Adharva mantras, the Brahma priests. Vyasadeva. And then this verse, Akyanai Shchapuka Upakyanar Gathabhir Dvijya Sattamaha Purana Samhitaschakre Puranartha Visharadaha Yachishtam tu Yajurveda Ichi Shastrarha Nirnayaha. Vyasadeva, being thoroughly conversant with the purport of the Puranas, fashioned his summary of them from Akyanas, Upakyanas and Gathas, obeyed of Brahmanas. Whatever remained from the division of the Veda into four is considered to belong to the Yajur Veda. Such is the definitive word on understanding the revealed scriptures. So, what is said here, that Srila Vyasadeva, he's called the Vyasa. Vyas means to divide, because he divided the Vedas into 4 parts. And originally, before his work, in the 12th canto, this verse has been is also there. How he just sorted the 4 Vedas. Rikatharva is 12, 6, 50. 12 canto, 6 chapter, 15 verse. Rikatharva yajursam nam rashir udharitya vargashaha chatastrah samhitas chakre mantrairmani gana iva. Srila Vyasadeva separated the mantras of the Rig, Adharva, Yajur and the Samaveda into 4 divisions, just as one sorts a mixed collection of jewels into piles. Thus, he composed 4 distinct bodies of Vedic literature. And this example is very nice. Like you have treasure, and then you have emeralds, you have the rubies, you have gold, you have silver, and so many different valuable things. But it's in one big pile. And then you ask somebody to sort it out. Separately diamonds, separately rubies, separately pearls, and so on. Silver, gold, corals. And so Srila Vyasadeva, he just did this job. He separated Rig mantras, Yajur mantras, Samaveda mantras, and Atharva Veda mantras separately. And then what he did, there was originally one big Veda, which was called Yajur Veda. And Gopinath Prabhu, he explains why Yajur Veda, because Yajur mantras, they are most prominent in the whole Vedas. So Yajur mantras, they are mystical. They can change the reality, and that's one of the reasons why Shudras and Chandalas, outcasts, they were forbidden to study the Vedas, because it's a great power. You can change reality if you know the Vedas. You can just be billionaire, or like you can have such a great power just by knowing, having this Vedic knowledge. So that's why always there is a fear that somebody can misuse this knowledge. So that's why only to those who are qualified originally Vedic knowledge were taught, and usually those are Brahmanas, Kshatris, and Vaishyas. The higher caste of the society. Why? Because they were reformed by the samskaras, Garabadhana samskara, and so on, so on. Samskara avichinnatvat vidyo deva jagadaha in the 7th canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam, 7:18, I think, something like 15. Narada Muni, he tells that when you go through the samskaras, but avichinnatvat means without interruption. Like for Brahmanas, there are 40 samskaras, for the Kshatris less, for the Vaishyas also less, but they should be, you shouldn't skip any samskara. They should be continuously. And moreover, samskara which was performed should work. It's not like you ignite the fire and then just without concentration or without devotion chant some mantras. It won't work. That samskara won't be proper samskara. So it will be considered that you skipped one important samskara. So that's why it's very important that the higher caste of the Vedic society, they become the Vijjas by performing samskaras. Janmana jete shudra samskarat bhavet viprah vetapat bhavet vijah vetapathet bhavet viprah brahma janatiti brahmanaha. Like in the Shurpada, he quotes this verse many times, that Janmana jete shudra, by Janma, by Jati, everybody is Shudra. Then samskarat bhavet dvijaha, by samskaras one becomes dvija. Vedapathet bhavet viprah, by studying Vedas and following the Vedic knowledge he becomes Vipra, learning Brahmana. But Brahma janatiti Brahmana. The real Brahmana is one who knows the Brahman, knows Krishna, which can also appear in three features: Brahmati, Paramatmati, Bhagavanati, Shabdyate, and Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And the highest Brahmanas, they are those who worship the Bhagavan or Vishnu. Vishnu Asya Devata, that's the derivation of the word Vaishnava. Vaishnava is one whose deity is Vishnu, who wants to please him. So that's the highest Brahmanas. So that's why Vedas, they are very strict to give this secret knowledge to unqualified people. So that's why Srila Vyasadeva, he divided all this Vedic knowledge for the sake of easy understanding. Because in Kali Yuga, before, all those mantras were mixed up, and the Brahmanas, they had such an intelligence that they could choose whichever mantra they need for the particular sacrifice. But in Kali Yuga, because it's mixed, they can mistaken. Take one mantra instead of another. So that's why, to make it clear, Srila Vyasadeva, he divided Vedas into 4 parts. And then, but originally it was one Veda, Yajurveda. It was called the Yajurveda. And why? As we said, because Yajurveda is the most important of all the Vedas. That's the Veda which can change the reality, change it, like mystical mantras, very, very important mantras. And that's why usually Yajurveda mantras, they are chanted silently, not loudly, because somebody can just hear it and then use it. So that's why it's not easy.
Can I ask something?
Yes, Mataji, please.
When you say change reality, what do you mean? Can you give an example of that?
Yes, Goparadhana Prabhu, he speaks about that in the commentary. He tells, he wrote the Atvaru priest chants the mystical Yajur mantras with which they conjure up the sacrificial environment from simple object to inordinate space and time, in effect creating the sacrificial arena and paraphernalia. The mantras they chant effect these mystic transformations through the power of evocative language. Examples of this special creative mode of speech are sometimes found even in mundane life. Like Goparadhana, he quoted this mantra. I don't remember. I tried to find it. That this coconut, like sometimes in the yajna, you see coconut. This coconut is not just ordinary coconut. This is the womb of Aditi, who is the mother of the demigods. So that's why through this coconut, through the channel, all demigods, they will one by another appear in the yajna. Then I have this book which is called the History of Dharma Shastras, and then it's a huge, many volumes of books. And then there we can see examples how those Yajurveda mantras they are being used for different sacrifices. So basically they can change the reality. They say that it's not just some yajna shala, but this is the palace of Lord Indra. So it's not like some bananas or grains which you put in the yajna, but this is some celestial flowers and so on, like that. They just chant mantras, and by mantras they can actually change these material things into subtle material things. Like we see in the case of Kardama Muni, who was also a great mystic. And he just by mantras created this ship, or how to say, the palace, who could flying city. Yes, it's flying city. And not just flying city. The servants were there, like so many. All the environment was there, just by mantras. So that's why it's possible that by mantras you can change the reality. Provided that you are...
You mean physical reality, right?
Physical reality, right.
Oh, okay.
Physical reality, yes.
It's like also we chant the mantra to change ordinary water into Ganga Jal.
Yes. Gangecha Yamune Cheva Godavari Sarasvati Narmada Kaveri Sindho Jarismin Sanidhim Kuru. Yes, very famous mantras, yes. And then it's not just some normal, you can touch it, you can get the mercy from this water. So it works. And also, Ihaya Harer Dasya Karmana Manasa Gira Nikilat Sapyavasthasu Jiva Mukti Sochite. One who uses in Krishna service his body, mind, words, he becomes Jiva Mukta. So his body becomes spiritualized. It's also possible.
Also like animals getting new bodies?
Yes.
So take that as an example?
Yes, exactly. Yes. So that's the power of Vedic mantras. So therefore, not everybody had an access to use them, because you can imagine just monkey in Vrindavan. Monkey, they can fight with you, but you can just take a stick and they go away. But imagine monkey with the machine gun. You just wow, and she shoots you, like, and then what they can do? So it's dangerous. So that's why you should have a qualification. And in the Vedic times, there are examples how different boys or students, they used to enter the Gurukula, and after finishing study, they had not the same amount of knowledge. Few of them, they got more knowledge, and few of them less knowledge, according to their qualification. Because the teacher, he could see what is proper for them to know. Very, very subtle. So that's the culture of Vedic education. Not everybody could get all the knowledge. Right now, what we can do? You can just go to the internet. We have this Google Guru who can give you all the knowledge, whatever you want. All mantras you can download, Brahma Gayatri mantra and different tunes, Om Bhur Bhava Swaha, like this. You can get all the mantras, all the knowledge practically. But it's not like what was in the Vedic times. So. And most important that this Yajur Veda was the original Veda. And then Jiva Goswami, he tells in this verse that Purana Samhitas Chakre Puranartha Visharadaha, then Akyanai Shchepupakyanai. So Vyasadeva, he divided, like he separated Rik mantras, Yajur mantras, Sama mantras, Samveda mantras, and Atharva Veda mantras. Okay, he did it. Also, very important things that Atharva Veda is the mystical Veda also. Is the mantras to protect the sacrifice, like some kind of black magic, but it's Vedic magic. You can kill people by using this Atharva Veda mantras. It's very, very dangerous. See? So that's why some say that even in ISKCON we used some of these mantras like few times for the enemies of Krishna consciousness. But it's like some kind of rumors are going on. But it's possible. If you know the Atharva Veda, you can kill people. So that's why it's dangerous. And then for mantras, for Vedas, and then something was remaining. And then what was remaining? Akyanani, Chepakyana, Akyanaishcha, Pipakyanayr, Garthabih, Vijasattamaha, Purana Samhitas Chakre, Puranadha, Visharadaha. Then from the Yachishtam to Yajur Veda, Ichishastrat Hanirnaya. And then what happened? Like there was one Veda, Rik, Sama, Yajur you separated, then what was remaining, it became Puranas and Itihasas. And then Baldev Pushni in commentary, he says that out of these Puranas and this, how to say, the collection of the mantras, of the verses or shlokas, Srila Vyasadeva, he separated the Mahabharata. Mahabharata, which is the, see, Purana Samhita Ashchakre, Purana Samhita. Purana Samhita means the Mahabharata, which is the essence of all the Puranas. So, very interesting. Like 4 Vedas, then remained, what was remained, it became the Puranas, and out of them, like some of the mantras, they became Mahabharata. That's why it is said that although Srila Vyasadeva, he wrote Mahabharata, actually he didn't write it. He just took some portion of the mantras which were already there in this original collection of mantras, which was called Yajurveda, and he used them to make Mahabharata, which is in turn the explanation of all the 18 Puranas. Puranartha Visharadaha, Purana Artha, for the sake of understanding all the Puranas. You see? Because we'll see that Puranas, they are different. We have Puranas for the people in the modes of goodness, passion and ignorance, Sattva, Raja and Tamaguna. So that's why it's difficult to understand them. And Mahabharata is not just some kind of itihasa. It is said, like one slogan is there amongst the scholars. Yatha Bharati, Tatha Bharati. Whatever you see in the Bharata Varsha is there in the Mahabharata. So it's all the practical, all the very, very relevant knowledge for the people in this material world. So this is this what happened in the beginning of creation. And then Jiva Goswami tells also to support that Puranas and Itihasas, they are also Vedic. He tells we also see that in the recitation of the Brahma Yajna, the Itihasas and Puranas are employed as thus enjoyed. Yet Brahma Brahmana Itihasa Purana Ni Iti. This is from Brahma Yajnapakyana, from Tatiriya Aranyaka 2.9. This is the book how to perform yajna, and Brahma Yajna is the part of the yajna. It's Brahma Yajna means the Gopinath Prabhu explains in the commentary that there are Pancha Mahayajna which you have to every Brahmana has to perform during the day to counteract the 5 kind of himsa you can perform, or to repay 5 kind of debts to different living entities. And to the great sages, to repay the debt to them because they gave you Vedic knowledge, you have to recite some Vedic scriptures. And Brahma Yajna is being performed during the Soma Yajna or like many complicated sacrifices, where only Vedic mantras are being changed. And that's why, because Puranas and Itihasas, they are part of the Brahma Yajna, it means that they are also Vedic. It's not something external to the Vedas. Otherwise, if you chant something bogus like kind of prajalpa, you have Krishna Katha and then you start speaking about the politics, about the you hear about coronavirus and so many things. It's different nature. It's not the Krishna Katha. So in the same way, if during the very important yajna you perform this Brahma Yajna and you chant Puranas and Itihasas, it would be prajalpa, would be something which could have spoiled the whole things, whole yajna. But Jiva Goswami tells it's allowed, it should be done, because Puranas and Itihasas, they are Vedic. Very important argument. You can just remember this or write it, because otherwise it's if somebody can challenge you, why do you study Puranas and Itihasas? You can tell, yes, because they are part of the Brahma Yajna, which every scholar knows what it is. It's most important, one of the most important parts of every sacrifice, every real Vedic sacrifices. Okay? And then Jiva Goswami tells, unless the Itihasas and Puranas were Vedic, this could not be so. Like you couldn't, they couldn't be part of the Brahma Yajna. And then Supreme Lord says also in Matsya Purana, O best of Brahmanas, foreseeing that in the course of time the Puranas will be neglected, I appeared as Vyasa. I appear in Vyasa in each age to condense them. According to what we have seen here, what the Lord means to say, I added the already existing Purana to make it easier to grasp. So this is the also important part that, yes, you can tell that Yes, that's right. We have Vedas which are abhigami, very difficult to understand. We have Puranas, but they are also difficult to understand. And that's why Krishna, knowing that not everybody can understand them, he appears as Srila Vyasadeva in order to edit them, to make them easier. And the part of of editing is that he is condensing them and separating, like sorting out what is different parts of the Vedic scriptures. And it is said, the quotation from Matsya Purana, in every Dvapara Yuga I divide the Purana into 18 books, totaling 400,000 verses, and that is how they are spread on earth. But even today, on the planets of the demigods, the Purana contains 1 billion verses. 1 billion, not million, billion verses. The 400 verse edition concisely embodies the purport of that original Purana. Since it has been said, whatever was left over is considered Yajurveda, these 400,000 verses were not new compositions, but the most useful portions of the original, gathered into an essential condensed version for this world of mortals. So, like, there was 1 billion verses of this Purana and Itihasa available in the higher planetary systems, but then Srila Vyasadeva, foreseeing or understanding that the intelligence of people will go down, they won't be able to understand everything. So what he did, he condensed. He took away, like he hidden some parts of this original Purana in Puranas and Itihasas, and he left only what is relevant for the people in Kali Yuga, for our age, so that we could use it for our devotional service and also in the practical life. So Jiva Goswami, he edits the Vedas, and also one of the roles of Srila Vyasadeva is that he has to sort out which mantras are proper and which mantras are not proper, because as we said, the Vedic mantras, they appear in this world through the Vedic sages, Veda Rishi, and then Shuta Rishi, they receive these mantras from the Veda Rishis by parampara, like a disciple from the guru. But Veda Rishi, they kind of download those mantras from the spiritual world. They manifest them in this material world. And some kind of corruption or some kind of mistake can also be there, that they can download it in a corrupted way. Like sometimes when you download the file from the internet, and then you try to open it and it's not openable because your file is corrupted. So that's why Srila Vyasadeva, he has the ability to sort out which are proper mantras and which are not proper mantras. You see, such a great responsibility. And therefore, Jiva Goswami, he's going to speak about the qualification of Srila Vyasadeva in the 15 Anusheda of Tattva-sandarbha. Because the role of Vyasa is crucial role. If he's if anybody of you ever wrote some books, and then you write book, and then as Gopalan Prabhu, he had said that the quality of the book, one part is the quality of the qualification of the writer of the book. He has to be proper, he has to have this knowledge and so on. But then the second part, second important part, is the quality of the editor, is the work of the editor. And if editor he's unchaste, or he doesn't understand what was there in the book, he can corrupt it, he can put mistakes, he can change it not in a proper way. But if the editor is really good, he understands the intention of the author, he can improve the book. So that's why Srila Vyasadeva, he is the editor of all crucial Vedic knowledge, and his qualification is crucial to whether we will receive this knowledge as it is, without any corruptions or mistakes, or we won't get the proper understanding of the Vedic knowledge. You see? Such an important role. And therefore, Srila Jiva Goswami, he is going to further in the 15th Anusheta, he is going to speak about the qualification of Srila Vyasadeva. So, is it clear for now? Until now, we did the 14th Anusheta. I think it's more or less easy. Right? And then he speaks about also Tathaiva Darshatam Vedasaha Bhavenna Shiva Puranasya Vayaviya Samhitayam. The Vayaviya Samhita of the Shiva Purana paints the same picture, describing the Puranas in conjunction with the Vedas. The great master, means Srila Vyasadeva, condensed the 4 Vedas and divided them into 4 parts. Because he separated the Vedas into parts, he is called Vedavyasa. The Purana also was condensed into 400,000 verses, though even today on the planets of the demigods it contains 1 billion. Same picture, as Jiva Goswami says. Was condensed, Sankshiptam here implies by him to complete the idea. Like Jiva Goswami, he condensed the original knowledge. And then also the question arises, okay, you speak that Puranas, they are Apurusheya, but what about the names of the Puranas? We have Agni Purana, Skanda Purana, and so on, so on. Does it mean that Agni, the fire god, had created this Agni Purana? Or the Skanda Purana, Skanda, who is the son of the Lord Shiva and Parvati, he created the Skanda Purana, and so on. Or Padma, or Brahma Purana, or like so many Puranas are there. So does it mean that they are the creators of the Puranas? And therefore, Jiva Goswami, he says, the Puranas have named have names like Skanda and Agni, but these pertain to the persons who spoke them, as do names like Karthaka and so on. Like we said in the Vedas, the same thing is there. Kathaka Muni, Katha Upanishad, for example, right? It's a discussion between this Kathaka Muni and Nachiketu or this Yamaraja, and so many important things are being spoken there, some philosophical discussions. But the Kathaka Muni was the real person who lived some times ago. So that's why it doesn't mean that because his name is there and his life, description of his life is there, that Vedas become material, like part of the historical events. It's not like that. And in the same way, Puranas, they also explain some historical events. Like they are named by the persons who existed in this material world some times ago. But it doesn't mean that they don't become non-spiritual because of that. No, they remain apurusheya. And then Jiva Goswami tells, otherwise they are named they are named according to the fixed order in which they were composed. Like it was said in one of the in the 13th Anusheda, Brahma Purana first, and then second Purana, and so on, like this. And when we sometimes hear that the Puranas are not eternal, such statements refer only to their visible manifestation and disappearance. So you might remember, like Srila Prabhupada in the introduction to Shrimad Bhagavatam, he speaks that Matsya Purana, the eldest Purana, glorifies thus Shrimad Bhagavatam. How it can be the eldest Purana? Because we know that Puranas, they are eternal. Like how to put it together. But Jiva Goswami tells that sometimes they appear in some particular order. Like first Brahma Purana, then Matsya Purana, and so on, like this. So that's why when we say it like apparently, they are not eternal. They appear and then disappear. But same with the sun. Sun appears on the sunrise and disappears on the sunset, but it doesn't mean that sun starts existing and then stops being existent. No, it's not like that. Sun is eternal. In the same way, Puranas, they are eternal, but they can manifest in this material world at some point of time and then disappear also. So that's why sometimes they are called temporary. Why? Because we see them existing only for some time. But it doesn't mean that they are not eternal at all. No, they are eternal. Just they appear and disappear for our vision. So that's the argument which Jiva Goswami gives to. Then he says, Tattevam itihasa purana yor vedatvam siddham. Thus we have proven in text 13 to 15.2 that the itihasas and Puranas are Vedic. That's the arguments he gave. And then he starts another important question. Okay, if Puranas are Vedic, does it mean that because they are Vedic, that in order to study them, you have the same qualification, adhikara, as for the studying the Vedas? As we said, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas, only the higher classes of society, can study the Vedas. Does that mean that we also cannot study Puranas because they are Vedic? And then Jiva Goswami he tells, Tadhapi sutadinam atikarah sakala nigama valli sad phala Shri Krishna nama vat. Even so, persons like Suta Goswami have the privilege to speak the Itihasas and Puranas, just as such persons qualify to chant the name of Shri Krishna, which is the perfect fruit of the creeper of the entire Vedic Shruti. Okay, Suta Goswami, he's not the Brahmana, he's Suta, which means the Pratiloma family. Like we have Anuloma and Pratiloma. Anuloma, which means that the father, like husband and wife, and husband is same Varna as wife or higher, not otherwise. If the wife is from the higher Varna, is Pratiloma. Pratiloma, which means when you go like according to the reverse current or counterwise. In the same way, like many problems will be there. Is the wife is more intelligent or from the higher Varna than the husband? So that's why if you have a wife from Brahmanas and the husband from Kshatriyas, it's called Anuloma, and this is the Suta. And Suta means that one who cannot do neither the work of the Brahmanas nor the work of the Kshatriyas. They kind of mixed. They can study Puranas but not the Vedas. And then they cannot fight as a warrior, but they can be the chariot drivers. They just kind of the battlefield, but they cannot fight themselves. So that's the Suta. And you know that Suta Goswami, he was chosen to be the speaker of the Puranas and Itihasas. How is it so? And then Jiva Goswami he tells, yes, it's possible. Because the qualification that in the same way as everyone is able to chant the holy name, which is the heart of the Vedas, is Sakalanigama Valli Sat Palam Chit Svarupam, is the phala or the fruit of all the tree of Vedic knowledge. Like all the Vedas, Puranas and so on, they fructify with the phala. Which phala? Which fruit? The fruit of the holy name. And everyone can chant the holy name. In the same way, everyone, despite his qualification or disqualification, can study Puranas and Itihasas. That's the logic he uses. And then he quotes this verse from the Yatoktam Prabhasa Khanda, Skanda Purana Prabhasa Khanda. Madhura Muduramitan Mangalam Mangalanam Sakalaниgamavali Satphalam Chitsvarupam Sakritabhikar Parigitam Shraddhaya Helayava Briguvar Naramatram Tarayet Krishna Nama. It's a very wonderful verse actually. I advise you to remember it, to learn this. As I said, on base of the Bhrigu dynasty, the holy name of Krishna is the sweetest of the sweet, the most auspicious of the auspicious. It is the transcendental fruit of all the Vedas and is purely spiritual. Whoever chants it but once, whether with faith or neglectfully, is liberated. And then it is said, Bhriguvara naramatram tarayet Krishna nama. Naramatram, if you just a human, just any human, no matter Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Chandala, any human can chant the holy name and it will purify him. Tarayet will save him. Even this Shadhaya Helayava, with faith or without faith, Hela, with the negligence, but still it will work. So in the same way, he also quotes a verse from Vishnu Dharma, also very wonderful verse. Rikvedadhaya Jurveda Sammavedo Pyatharmanaha Athitastenaye Noktam Harir Ich Aksharadvayam. One is considered to have studied the Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvaveda. Once one has uttered the two syllables, Hari. And in Hare Krishna mantra, when we chant Hare Krishna, Hare is the Hari in vocative, in Sambodhana. So it means that you can imagine how many times you have chanted Hari, and you must already know all the Rig Veda, Samaveda, Yajurveda and Atharvaveda. And if you don't admit that you know all the Vedas, it means that you're trying to hide yourself. You see? That's the power of the holy name. If you chant even once holy name. So that's why on this trend of chanting of the holy name, of being the devotee, everyone can study the Puranas and Itihasas, although they are Vedas. And also Jiva Goswami, he quotes this verse, Bharata Vyapadeshena Hyamna Yardham Pradashitaha Vedah Pratishtitah Sarve Purane Natra Samshayaha. On the pretext of writing the Mahabharata, Srila Vyasa had revealed the meaning of the Vedas. All the Vedas have a firm foundation in the Puranas. Of this, there is no doubt. Pratishtha means the foundation. Veda Pratishtitah Sarve. All the Vedas, everything which is there is being, they have a foundation in the Puranas. Why? Because Vedas and Puranas, they explain the qualities, like some hidden or some parts of the Vedas which are missing, or some complicated parts of the Vedas. You can get the explanation in the Puranas and Itihasas. And then, as we said, because that was done by Srila Vyasadeva, who did all this very, very crucial, important work, then what was the qualification of Srila Vyasadeva? And then Jiva Goswami, he tells, it's also Kimcha Vidardha Dipakanam Shastranam Madhya Pratipad So Api Avirbhavaka Vaishishtyat Tayor Eva Vaishishtyam. He tells, we understand the Puranas and Itihasas to be only two of many types of Shastra that elucidate the meaning of the Vedas. Like we have different smritis, like Jaimini Rishi, he wrote this Jaimini Purvamamsa Sutras, or different sages. Kapila Muni, he called this, he also wrote some books on Sankhya philosophy, Nyaya philosophy, so many different books. They are all smritis. But Jiva Goswami, he tells, why do we choose especially Puranas and Itihasas? And he tells, still due to the preeminent stature of him who made them known, like Pratipadaka, which means that they are the Srila Vyasadeva, who manifested them, his authority. These two are special, as stated in the Padma Purana. And then he quotes this verse from Padma Purana. Dvapayanena yad buddham brahmadhyai nabhuthyate sarva buddham savai veda tad buddham nanyagocharam. Not even Brahma and the other demigods know everything known to Dvapayana Vyasa. He knows all that is known to anyone else, and some things that no one else can know. So there are different sages, and amongst all the sages, Srila Vyasadeva, he's the best one. He's the excellent, how to say, he's the superior of all of them. So that's why the books which he manifested, they are mostly authoritative. And Jiva Goswami in the Sarva-samvadini to this Anusheda, it's, just one second, yes, it's on the page 313. He speaks, the conclusion regarding the Itihasas and Puranas is stated by the words, thus we have proven they are Vedic. Therefore, Jiva Goswami says, being infallible, like perfect, they are not seen to conflict with other smritis, the way some smritis do. And then he says that, yes, Puranas and Itihasas, they are Vedic, because they are faithful to the Vedas. But some smritis, written by different sages, they are not so. They contradict what is written in the Vedas. And he gives examples, he quotes...
this is page number 213 or 230?
No, 313. 313.
313.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes. So this is Sarva-samvadini to the 15th Anusheda. And Jiva Goswami, he gives, it's a little bit complicated because he quotes from the Vedanta Sutra when the main discussion is that he refutes what is said in the Sankhya philosophy, that the pradhana, the primary material nature, is the source of every sin, not the Supreme Lord. And then he refused that. This is in the Vedanta Sutra, second part. We have Samanvaya Pada, first part, and then Avirodha Pada. Avirodha Pada is the second part where Srila Vyasadeva, he speaks about different philosophies. And then he refutes those arguments which are against the Shrutis, the original Vedas. Different darshans. We have this Shad darshan. So he discusses all their arguments, and then he refutes those which are not according to the Vedas. So, and part of this argument is the polemics with the Sankhya philosophy, which says that that Prakriti or Pradhana is the source of everything else. So that's why he refused this idea. And then he says that it's also Smriti. And that Smriti is not authoritative because it goes against the Shastras. And then he gives an argument. But argues the opponent. When Sri Badarayana says, nor is this that is absolute, the material nature described in Smriti, because the qualities mentioned for the absolute do not belong to nature, he is referring to the material nature described in Smriti, not in Shruti, and implying that the Puranas, which deal with material nature, are also Smritis, and therefore lacking authority. So he says, yes, that's right, but what we said about the Pradhana as the source of every sin is also written in the Puranas. So that's why Puranas, they are also not authoritative, because they go against the Shrutis. And Jiva Goswami tells, no, the answer. In this sutra, he denies only the material nature that is supposed to be independent. And the only Smriti he is speaking of and denying is that of the philosophical system of Sankhya, which proposes the independence of the Pradhana. In another sutra, nature is effective because she is under his control. Vyasa recognizes the Pradhana as having synonymous names like the in manifest, and being well known to be under the control of the Supreme Lord. This is the idea of Pradhana seen in the Puranas. Thus, the Puranas are not ordinary Smritis, and their being Vedic stands irrefuted. So that's why he tells that they just take some Puranic statements out of the context. And they say, okay, because they kind of support what we say, and you have just refuted the authority of our Smritis, like the Sankhya philosophy statements. So that's why Puranas, they are also not authoritative. But Jiva Goswami, he tells, no, it's not like that. You just took the statements out of context. Actually, Purana tells completely different things. So that's why Puranas, they are also authoritative in the same way as the 4 Vedas. Okay, so this is the what Jiva Goswami tells about the authority of the Puranas and Itihasas, and because he started speaking about the authority of Srila Vyasadeva, he continues in the 16th Anusheda. Is it clear now? Like, do you have any questions, dear devotees? We are going quite quick because it's kind of short on the Anushedhas, and Jiva Goswami, he's speaking like something which is more or less easy to understand. Maybe some questions are there? No? Okay. So, as we said, that Puranas and Vedas, they have the same aparushaya nature, but they are same and different. And it's very nice, because if the Puranas and Itihasas were completely same, it means that they would have the same adhikara qualification to study them. And then nobody of us, like most of us, I'm sure that a few of you are from the very high Brahmanical families, and you're qualified, like according to the Vedic standards, you're qualified to study Puranas. But like myself, unfortunately, I wasn't born in the Bharatavarsha. I'm a Videshi, but still, as Jiva Goswami tells, because they are same and not the same, Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva, and they're not same in this. The adhikara qualification to study them is much less. You don't have to be born in a Brahmanical family. You don't have to have the samskaras. Starting from Garbhadhana samskara. No, everybody can study Puranas and Itihasas and get benefit from them. Same benefit as you would got from the studying of the original Shrutis, original Vedas. Okay?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
It doesn't seem to make sense that such a high qualification is needed to study the 4 Vedas, but then we just heard that anyone who just chants Hari, it's understood that they've studied all the 4 Vedas, but to chant Hari, you don't need any qualification.
Yes, I understand. Sampradaya vihinaye mantra stenish palamataha. If you take mantra or this holy name out of the sampradaya, 4 original sampradayas, the mantra will be nishpala, like the fruit of chanting, proper chanting of the mantra would be like that. Rig Veda, Sama Veda, you have understood the meaning of the whole Veda, 4 Vedas. But if you chant it properly, is the and then Shadhaya Hilaya Va. But at the same time, holy name is Svatantra, completely independent. And even on the level of Namabhasa, it might happen that you chant the holy name and you get the knowledge of all the 4 Vedas. But the highest fruit of chanting of the holy name is not just kind of material knowledge of the liberation, is the prema bhakti. But prema you can get only if you chant it according to the mood of the sampradaya, like that. Okay?
Yeah, I was wondering that in relation also to the Vedic mantras, that because we know that mantras don't have potency if they're not received from the guru. So it's not that someone can just get these mantras and, the Tarva Veda mantras and chant them and kill someone. Like they have to receive them from the guru, otherwise it won't have any effect, right?
Yes, and guru chooses whom to give and whom not to give. He's the authority.
There's a safety thing there.
Yes. That's the authority. And Vedas they say, Tatinyanartham sugurum vabhyagachet samit panikshrotarim brahmanishtam. That if you want to get not just jnana or knowledge, Vedic knowledge, but vijnana, so that this mantra would work and kill somebody, you have to approach the guru. And then the guru will see. Samit panik means the quality of the disciples, who is ready to sacrifice everything for the sake of the guru, to serve. This seva abhimana, this serving attitude should be there. Freedom for pride, envy, false ego. Otherwise, guru would never give you this conventional knowledge. So that's the protected system of the Vedas. Otherwise, Veda won't work. And you should go to the guru. And then also the question is, who is the guru? Kshatriyam Brahmanishtam. He has to be also in the bona fide parampara. His guru has to assign him to be the next part of the parampara, of Guru Parampara, because of Guru has to see his qualities. He tells that yes, you are qualified to be the next Guru, next Acharya, to say. So it's also, Guru will test you, will check your qualities and so on. Then only he will empower you to be the Guru for the disciples. So that's why it's the protective system which is there in the Vedas. Right? And then also very important things that you might think that yes, we have to chant the holy name, but we have to receive initiation. And Goparanhan Prabhu in his commentary he speaks about he says, therefore the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in particular is almost never mentioned openly in Shruti and Smriti, because it's very confidential. It's like the highest mantra out of all. Nevertheless, he writes, in the current age, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given a special concession, a kind of automatic or informal initiation to everyone, by ordering every man, woman and child in the universe to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In doing so, he had offered to take on his own head the reactions of our offenses against Harinama when we chant according to his order. Thus, even before being fully empowered by formal initiation to chant the mantra, persons of this age can chant the Mahamantra and make tangible spiritual advancement. That's what happens even before the initiation. We start chanting and we get some benefit. Why? Because it's the special mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then by chanting Hare Krishna mantra, in the beginning we get proper faith, hear about Krishna, about who is he, what is his name, the quality of the importance of the chanting, like what should be proper mood. And then Guru, while giving initiation, he's not just giving the mantra, he's giving the internal meaning of the mantra, the mood. He's giving blessings for us to chant this mantra. That's also important.
I heard one Maharaj was speaking about the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and he was saying that it's not actually, technically speaking, it's not a mantra, because mantras always start with some bij. They start with some syllable like
yes, bija, yes,
clean, beam, and they end with namaha or something like that. And it doesn't have that structure. It's just, we can't actually call it a mantra, but it's just
yes, Krishna mantra hobi haba, sam sramachan Krishna nama hobi pabe, Krishna Charan. It's written in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Krishna mantra, this formal mantra which has the structure, sam sramachan, it can liberate you from the material existence, but Krishna nama hoite pabe, Krishna Charan, but Krishna nama can bring you to the lotus feet of Krishna. It's different, yes, it's different. But at the same time, we call it mantra, manastrateiti mantraha, because it can change your consciousness, your heart, basically. Yes, that's why. And this is the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya, because before, in previous ages, people would do meditation, Kritaya Dhyato Vishnum, Tritayam Mejatavam Makhayah, or Yagnyas in Trita Yuga, Vapare Paricharya Yam, or in Vapra Yuga, the deity worship. And then, by perfecting their life, by doing this Yuga Dharma, at the very end, like fine tuning, they would chant the Hare Krishna mantra, like a missile, go to the spiritual world. That's the final tuning. But before that, they had to become purified. But in Kali Yuga, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Eva Kevalam, Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatirinitha. Nothing of these three practices works. Therefore, Jiva Goswami tells that Lord Chaitanya, he gave us the holy name as the sadhana and sadhya. In the level of sadhana, you purify yourself, and then on the level of sadhya, this is the final tuning, actually, by which you develop the love of Godhead. That's the special mercy. That's why when Lord Chaitanya started this Harinama Sankirtana on the streets of Navadipa, the Brahmanas, the scholars, they would just cry, why, what are you doing? What are you doing? You will destroy everything. It's the confidential mantra. It shouldn't be chanted aloud. But there's the special mercy of Lord Chaitanya that he allows it to be chanted, even in the very beginning of the spiritual life. Okay? Is it okay, Mataji? Did I answer? Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. And then Jiva Goswami, he speaks in the 16th Anusheda. Okay, today we did already 2 Anushedas. We have 3 more. He speaks also about the qualification of Srila Vyasadeva. Skandhi. Vyasachittas chitaka shat an avachinna chikani chit anye vyavaharanch etan urukritya griha devam. The Skanda Purana says, these older sages make use of small collections of ideas that have carved out from the infinite sky of the mind of Vyasa. They take advantage of these borrowed ideas like people who pick up things discarded from someone else's house. Like you have a house, and then you have some things, and then you don't need it anymore, you just throw it away. And somebody picks it up. Oh, okay, such a nice mobile phone, or such a nice computer, such a nice like machine, such a nice chair, and so on. And they use it. So in the same way, Jiva Goswami tells that Srila Vyasadeva, he has the full picture of knowledge in his heart, and then he has all the conclusions of shastras. And the different sages, they use just some part of what he knows. You see, such a great person. And then he quotes these verses also from the Vishnu Purana. Then during the 28th period, the great master, my son Vyasa, divided the old Veda with its 4 divisions into 4 separate books. And just as this brilliant editor arranged it into various books the entire text of the Vedas, so have other Vyasas in the past, including me, like Parashara Muni. He was the previous Vyasa. Vyasa is the post, is the position. And then some Jiva, they take this post to do the work for this position. And then he tells, you should know, O Brahmanas, that in each cycle of 4 ages, the branches of the Vedas are thus organized by different Vyasas. But, he tells, Krishna Dvapayanam Vyasam Vidhi Narayanam Prabhum Konyo Hi Bhuvi Maitreya Mahabharata Krit Bhavet. Very, very famous verse which has also been spoken by our acharyas many times. But Krishna Dvapayanam Vyasa, know it well, is the Supreme Lord Narayana himself. Who else on earth, O Maitreya, could be the author of the Mahabharata? As we said, that Mahabharata is the very crucial book which summarizes the essence of all the Puranas, which in turn explain the meaning of the original Shrutis, Vedas. So it's the very, very important book. And then he tells that Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa, like 28 Vyasas, they come in different days of Lord Brahma. But Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa, he is the special. He is Narayana Swayam. He is the Supreme Lord. Usually, Vyasadeva, they are Shakti Vyashavataras. But in Laghu Bhagavatamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami, he speaks about that also. He tells that, I'm sorry, just a second. Yes. Not this. Yes, this is Laghu Bhagavatamrita, first part, 3rd chapter, verses 83 and 82 to 85, I think. Dvapayanosmi Vyasanam iti shauri yadauchitam ato Vishnu Purana dau visheshenaiva varnitaha. This is the Vyasa whom Shri Krishna indicates with the words. Among the Vyasas, I am Dvapayana. Like this is the section when Rupa Goswami speaks about different incarnations. And then is in the list of Lila avatars of the Supreme Lord, not the Shaktivesh avatars. They have this separate list. So he speaks about Krishna as one of about Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa as one of the Svamshas, and he tells that it's regarding the Vyasa about whom Krishna tells in the Shrimad Bhagavatam 11:16-28. Dvapayanosmi Vyasa Anam, amounts of all Vyasas, I am Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa, which means that Krishna tells that I'm Supreme Lord and I became Vyasadeva. He's not a Jiva, he's the very special living entity. Okay? So he's, he's not a living entity, he's the Supreme Lord himself, Narayana. And then he tells, Yatha, the same verse which Jiva Goswami quotes, Krishna Dvapayanam Vyasam Vidhi Narayanam Swayam Kokhyanya Pundari Kakshan Mahabharata Krit Bhavet. Little bit different, like some kind of this is Vishnu Purana 3-4-5 and Mahabharata Shanti Parva 334 to 49. So he tells that Krishna, known that Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa is Lord Narayana himself, who yells, but the lotus-eyed Supreme Lord could be the author of the Mahabharata. But then, in the 84th verse, like we can see that sometimes in the Shrivada books, he tells that Vyasadeva, he is the Shakti Veshavatara. Why is it so? Jiva Goswami, he definitely tells that he is the Vishnu Tattva, not Jiva Tattva. And Rupa Goswami seemingly confirms this also. And then Rupa Goswami, he tells why sometimes it is said that he is the Shakti Veshavatara. In the 84th verse, Shruite apandhara tama dvapayanam agatiti. And he goes the verse, Kim sayujam gatah sotra vishvam shah kopi va bhavet tasmat ashesha eva yam itikechit vadanti cha. We hear from scripture that the sage Apahantara Tama, Vedic sage, accepted the role of Dvapayana Vyasa. Apahantara Tama may have united with Dvapayana, or he might have also been a partial expansion of Lord Vishnu. Because of such statements, however, some authorities say that Dvapayana is an Avesha incarnation. Okay, so that's why Srila Prabhupada, he writes that Srila Vyasadeva, he is the Avesha incarnation. And Rupa Goswami, he tells that we cannot understand completely. Why is it so? Why was the Krishna, like Narayana, who had merged with the Apahantara sage, and then because of that he's called the Shakti Veshavatara, by stressing this sage's portion in this united, or some else, or he is the partial expansion of Lord Vishnu, Narayana, who is the Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa. And in the commentary it is said that it is from the Narayaniya portion of the Mahabharata that we obtain the information that Krishna Dvapayana was the sage Apahantara Tama in his previous life. This sage was extremely strict in his observance of austerities. His name indicates that he managed to dispel apagata, all darkness within the heart, antaratamas. Because of this information, some think that Krishna Dvapayana was an empowered jiva like Sanaka Kumara and his brothers, Shakti Veshavatara. That's the complication with the Srila Vyasadeva. And that's why... Yes.
Sorry.
Yes,
Are
please.
you saying that Vyas is a post, like Brahma and Indra are posts, and that sometimes he's a jiva, and then sometimes he's a Shakti Vesha incarnation?
No. Even if he's Jiva, he's Shaktivesha. He's not just some Jiva. He's special empowered Jiva. But sometimes, like out of all Vyasas, Krishna says, Dvapayana Vyasanam Dvapayana Smi. That out of all Vyasas, I'm Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa. Which means that Krishna Dvapayana is special. It's not the Jiva, Shaktivesha Avatara. He's the Supreme Lord. And few verses they support it. And then Rupa Goswami, he quotes that there was this sage Apahantara Tama, who was the very learned, and he became Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa. Looks like that he is the Jiva. So that's why if he is Jiva, he must be Shaktivesha Avatara. And how to put it together, Rupa Goswami, he tells, either they merge it, like Lord Narayana in this sage, or he is the partial manifestation of the Lord Narayana. It's also possible. How?
So
Yes.
is Vyasa post?
Yes, Vyasa is post. And we know that in previous age, Parashara Muni was the Vyasa. Now, Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa. In the next Manvantara, it will be Ashwatthama. We know that Ashwatthama, when he wanted to kill Parikshit Maharaj, and then tried. He was caught, and then in this discussion, Krishna wanted to kill him, and Draupadi, she protected him, and then Arjuna was told that you should do so that both opinions would be accomplished. So he didn't kill Ashwatthama, he just cut his hair. And then he again tried to kill Parikshit Maharaj, and then Krishna had to save him. And then Ashwatthama, he was released, and he's got the blessing that he will be Chiranjiva. He will live very, very long time. And then he was thinking, okay, so nice, I'm not killed, I can do whatever. But then he could understand that this sin he had performed when he killed the sleeping sons of Draupadi. He was suffering like any sin. And it's written also in the Puranas that he came to Vraja Vrindavan, to place which is known as Kokilavan. This Kokilavan, where this bird, parrots, not parrots, like Kokila. What is the English name of Kokila? Anybody knows? No? I just don't remember. Anyway, these birds, they would chant every day. Huh?
Crow.
Not crow. It's not crow. No, not crow. Cuckoo, 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 like this. Anyway, cuckoo, yes, cuckoo, exactly, cuckoo, yes, cuckoo. Thank you, Shaktimanta Mataji. It's cuckoo. So he was staying there with his heart. Why? How can I do it? He was repenting like any sin. But he couldn't kill himself because he had the blessings that he will live very long time. Atapyamana hridaya vasitam namami. It is said in the third canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam that Krishna can manifest only in the repentant heart which is atapyamana, when you suffer out of repentance of what you had done before. And he was repenting. And then what happened? He was staying in Vrindavan and Vraja, and he listened how the cuckoo chant. And they are not just ordinary birds, they are great devotees of the Lord. And their chanting is the Shuddhanama. So that's why he's heard this, and then he became a great devotee. And because of that qualification, he is going to become the next Vyasadeva in the next millennium, like this. Okay? So Vyasadeva is just the post. Okay? And then...
like kind of Vyasa is also a jiva. In any case, they're always jivas.
Yes, always jiva. But in the case of Krishna Dvapayana Vyasa, is Vishnu Tattva.
Oh, it's Vishnu Tattva.
Yes. And this is the exception, what Jiva Goswami speaks about. And because he is Vishnu Tattva... No, not Shaktivesha Avatara. Somebody said that he's Shaktivesha Avatara because of this story about the Antara Pahata, sage, great sage. But Rupa Goswami, he tells, either they merge it, or he's the partial manifestation of Lord Narayana, like this. Okay. In either case, we don't know exactly what happened. But Krishna Dvapara Vyasa, he is outstanding amongst all the other Vyasas. That's what Jiva Goswami wants to tell about him. Okay? And then he quotes the verses from the Skanda Purana. Lord Narayana generated the original knowledge in this world. It stayed intact through the Krita Yuga. In Treta Yuga, it became somehow somewhat corrupted, and in Dvapara Yuga, altogether so. When knowledge had thus gradually turned into ignorance because of Gautama Rishi's curse, the confused demigods, headed by Brahma and Rudra, went to ask protection from Narayana, the faultless provider of shelter. That personality of Godhead, the greatest of mystics, informed of what they needed him to do. And then he descended to earth as the son of Parashara from the womb of Satyavati. And so Lord Hari himself restored the neglected Vedas. Okay? So it's also one of the confirmation that it's Supreme Lord himself, he came as Krishna Dvapara Vyasa, as the son of Parashara Muni. And then Veda Shabden, the word Veda in this context also implies the Puranas and Itihasas. And why it was needed so, as we said, Vyasadeva, what he does, he edits the Vedas, like he sorts them out, and then he condenses them, which means that some corrupted or complicated parts he removes, he explains them, in the Mahabharata, and then he helps the living entities to understand what is the message of the Vedas. And Jiva Goswami tells, not just Vedas, but Vedas along with the Puranas and Itihasas. And then he tells, thus we have established, Jiva Goswami writes, thus we have established that the best way to proceed is to examine the Itihasas and Puranas. Moreover, there is evidence that of these two, the Puranas are more important. As stated in the Narada Purana, O lovely one, I consider the message of the Puranas more important than that of the Vedas. The Puranas provide a firm foundation of all the Vedas. Of this there is no doubt. A person who disrespects the Puranas will have to take his next birth as an animal. Even if very much self-controlled and peaceful, he will achieve no good destination. Okay? And we know that some of the Mayavadi scholars, they tell that Puranas, they are secondary authority. They don't accept them. And it's very important part of the hermeneutics, because if you don't accept some pramanas, and your opponent accepts them, so you won't be able to have a proper discussion. Like you quote some verses from Puranas and your opponent tells, okay, I don't believe it. Why do you quote it? You see? So that's why Srila Jiva Goswami, he tells that it's very important to accept Puranas as authoritative as the Vedas. Otherwise, he tells that you will get next life you will get a birth of the animal. You see? Such a strong statement. And also a few words about the curse of Gautama Rishi. It's spoken in the Varaha Purana. Gautama once received a benediction that his fields would always produce abundant rice. So when the country surrounding his ashrama were struck by a severe drought, he took the opportunity to host many learned brahmanas and feed them. The drought eventually ended, and the brahmanas wanted to return to their villages, but Gautama did not want to give them permission to leave. Just stay here. He liked this association. Right? His sage, they brahmanas, sages, they usually like to associate with each other. And then the brahmanas then created an illusion of a cow to fool him. And when Gautama touched the false cow, it appeared to fall dead. His guests pretended to be horrified by witnessing the killing of a cow, great sin, and used the incident as a pretext for leaving. Gautama then strictly observed the prescribed atonement for such an inauspicious act. Later, after discovering that Brahmanas had deceived him, he angrily cursed them and all their colleagues, like all the Brahmanas, to lose their Vedic knowledge. So that's why Brahmanas right now, the effect of the curse of the Gautama Rishi is still there. And to counteract it, as Jiva Goswami he writes, Supreme Lord himself, he appeared as Srila Vyasadeva. So that's why we need the mercy of Vyasadeva. And his mercy is his books, especially the Mahabharata, Puranas, Itihasas, which help us to understand the original message of the Vedas, and also Vedanta Sutra, and especially Śrīmad Bhagavatam, which is his highest and latest contribution to the human society. Okay, so that's the role of the Srila Vyasadeva, and because he is superhuman, he is not like an ordinary editor, he is his Supreme Lord. That's why whatever he did is completely perfect, and we can believe him, we can use it in both material and spiritual progress. Okay, so that's what is questions. Yes.
Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, and Mahabharata is in the category of Itihasa. Is that right?
Yes, it is. Yes.
So I'm surprised that Bhagavad Gita is, because you're saying that the Puranas are more authoritative than Itihasa, means that Bhagavad Gita is in the less authoritative.
No. Puranas and Itihasas, both of them. Jiva Goswami, he speaks about the Puranas and the Itihasas as one thing. He doesn't divide.
They're more authoritative than what? The four Vedas?
Yes, than the four Vedas. Yes.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I misunderstood.
Usually vice versa. Vedas are more authoritative than Puranas and Itihasas. But he says that, yes, it was like that in previous ages. But in Kali Yuga, Puranas and Itihasas, they're more authoritative than the four Vedas. Like that. Okay?
What is difference between Puranas and Itihas?
Puranas, they are fixed, like we have this 14. Actually, it was one part of the Yajurveda. And then, as it was said that Srila Vyasadeva, he first divided four Vedas, and then he gave them to the different sages, his disciples. And then what was remaining, Puranas and Itihasas. And then Puranas, he divided Puranas into 18 Puranas, I'm sorry. And then what was remaining, Akyatani, like, how it was there, just 1 second. Krishna. Anyway, he was quoting. Yes, I'm sorry. What he did, he took the remaining part, what was there, and he made it into Mahabharata, like this. Mahabharata, which is one of the Itihasas. About Ramayana, I don't know, Jiva Goswami don't speak anything about Ramayana, how it appeared. Maybe it's but anyway, he speaks about the work of Srila Vyasadeva, what he did. Like he divided Puranas. Sorry?
I heard that the Puranas are very ancient histories and the Itihasas are more recent.
Actually, we can tell that because some sequence is there, definitely, right? First Puranas, Jiva Goswami is going to speak about that, about the Śrīmad Bhagavatam, like how, although it appeared at the very end, still it was already existent. Like Kritva nukramya chatmajam sutam adhapayamasa nivritta niratah muihi. This is the verse from the 1:7, 10, I think, something 9, I think, no, 8, like this. And then he's going to tell that Bhagavatam, he was already one of the Puranas, and Puranas were written before Mahabharata. So he tells that first Puranas manifested, then Mahabharata, and then Śrīmad Bhagavatam. But how to put it together, that it was said that Śrīmad Bhagavatam already existed. So he tells that he just expanded whatever Purana was there, Bhagavata Purana, as part of the 18 Puranas already made before or manifested before. So that's why, yes, that's true. But as Jiva Goswami told, that although they appear in some sequential order, Like Puranas also, 18 Puranas. First appeared Brahma Purana, then Matsya Purana, then one by one. It might appear that there are elder Puranas or the more recent Puranas, and then Mahabharata appeared after all the Puranas. But still, Jiva Goswami tells that they are eternal Vedic literatures. They eternally existed before Jiva Goswami separated them from the original Yajurveda. Like that.
Is there anything else in the category of Itihasa apart from Mahabharata?
Actually, there are different smritis which are written by great sages, and therefore Jiva Goswami told that those smritis which are faithful to the Vedas, they are also Vedic. Those smritis, like what was written by Kapila, the impostor Kapila, the Sankhya philosophy, or this Gautama, Nyaya, and so on. Those smritis, if they contradict what is there in the Shrutis, in the Vedas, they are not authoritative. They they don't have this Apurusha authority as the Vedas. So there
the
are
only one that we really accept and study is Mahabharata.
Yes. So basically, what we accept is Puranas, Itihasas, and Akyanani. Akyanani means the commentaries of great acharyas when they explain the meaning of the original Vedas, Puranas, Itihasas, and so on. That also has the Apurusha authority.
And then as far as the Puranas, there's 18. The 6 are in passion, 6 in goodness, 6 in ignorance. But
Yes.
Shrimad Bhagavatam is transcendental, so is it in addition to those 18, or is it one of them and the one of them?
No, just wait, because Jiva Goswami he's going to speak that. Actually, it doesn't mean that they are materials in the modes of Sattva Guna, Raja Guna, Tama Guna. No, both of them, they are spiritual. Just they are for the people with some. It should be in the 17 Anusheda. Just now, he's going to speak about it. Yes. Just the consciousness of people is in the modes of nature. Therefore, for them, we have these different Puranas. And it doesn't mean that Srimad Bhagavatam was material and then Srila Vyasadeva made it spiritual. No, it was already spiritual. See? Okay. Thank you very much for your questions, Mataji. Thank you. Okay. And then 17 Anusheda. I think we can at least start it and then see how far we can go. Skanda Prabhasa Khande Cha. In the Skanda Purana, we find such statement. O base of Brahmanas, I consider the purport of the Puranas to be as incontestable as the Vedas themselves. The Puranas give a firm foundation of all the Vedas. Krishna. Of this there is no doubt. Sometimes in the past the Vedas feared Vedas themselves, for Vedas. We know that there are Shrutis or the personified Vedas. Every part of the Vedic scriptures is a person. They feared, wow, these people barely trained in proper hearing will distort our meaning. But then the Itihasas and Puranas came forward to give the Vedas an indisputable foundation. What cannot be found in the Vedas or Brahmanas is found in the Smritis, and what cannot be seen in either is clearly described in the Puranas. Like we have Vedas, then we have Smritis, which mean the books written by the great sages, like different sages, explaining the Smritis. And then if you don't find something in the Vedas or in the Smritis, he tells, what cannot be found in the Vedas or Brahmanas is found in the Smritis, and what cannot be seen in neither in Vedas or nor in the Smritis, is clearly described in the Puranas. O Brahmanas, one who knows the Vedas along with their supplements and the Upanishads, but does not know the Puranas, is not truly learned. So you need the knowledge of Puranas in order to complete your Vedic education. It's important. You see? It's not enough to just know the 4 Vedas and Smritis. You need to know the Puranas. And then he tells, even though we have thus settled the question of the authority of the Puranas, okay, they are authoritative, yes, convinced. We must next address a doubt about their current status, as we said in the Vedas. Yes, Vedas, they're superhuman like this, but then Dushparatvat, Durabhigamatvat, they're too big, it's too difficult to understand them. Not all parts of the Vedas are accessible, and many different sages, they give different explanations of the Vedas. So Jiva Goswami tells, what is the current status of the Puranas? Are they accessible to people right now in Kali Yuga? And he tells, less intelligent people of modern times find the Puranas hard to understand because the original texts are only partially available, and the deities whose worship they mostly promote are various. Okay, he tells that, yes, Puranas, they are authoritative, but first of all, not all the Puranas are unchanged, like came to us in their original status, original form. It distorted some of the scribes of the Puranas, they add something or remove some important parts of the Puranas, or they change some words in the Puranas, right? Or even if you get the Puranas unchanged, because they speak about the different deities like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Skanda, Kartikeya, and so on, Linga Purana, like so many deities, so many goals, so many practices are there. So how to understand what is the highest goal and highest practice in the Puranas? It's difficult. And Jiva Goswami then he says, Yat Uktam Matsya, he quotes from the Matsya Purana, Panchangam cha Puranam syat akyanam itarat smritam satvikeshu chakaupeshu mahatmyam atikam harihe rupa sheshu chamahatmyam Rajyaseshu chamahatmyam atikam brahmano viduhu tadvatagnyescha mahatmyam tamaseshu shivasya cha sankirneshu sarasvatyam styah pitrinam cha nigadyate. A historical text is a Purana if it has the 5 defining characteristics. Panchangam, like we have itihasas, and Puranas, what they are different from itihasas, they have some 5 parts. Like one of them is Krishna Vamshanucharita, Harikatha. I don't remember exactly all 5 of them, but still it's some signs what can be Puranas and what cannot be Puranas. And then he tells, other histories are known as Akyanas. Akyana means just some narrations. Puranas that describe days of Brahma in the mode of goodness mostly glorify the Supreme Lord Hari. Puranas describing days of Brahma in the mode of passion, Rajaguna, especially glorify Brahma. Puranas describing days in the mode of ignorance tell the glories of Agni and Shiva, and those describing mixed days discuss the glories of Sarasvati and the Pitas. Here, glorification of Agni, the fire of God, means glorification of Vedic sacrifices made with offering into various sacred fires. In the phrase "and of Shiva also," the word also implies Shiva's wife, Durga Devi Parvati. During mixed days means during the many days of Brahma in which goodness, passion, and ignorance are all prominent. Like not all of them, all 3 of them prominent. Of Sarasvati, it indirectly refers to various demigods, since Sarasvati is the presiding deity of various kinds of Vedic language. Of the Pitas, celestial forefathers, means of the rituals that lead to the attainment of the forefathers. According to the Smriti statements, by Vedic rituals, one achieves the word of the Pitas. Wow. So it complicates, because Lord Brahma, he lives. And you might see that you have different days. In one day you are very sleepy. It's difficult for you to wake up to do the work. In other days you just in passion, you run here and there. In some days you are mostly in the mode of goodness, because everything changes. The modes are influencing us. So in the same way, Lord Brahma, as Gopinath he proves it in the commentaries that Lord Brahma, his days are also under the influence of Sattva-guna, Rajaguna or Tamaguna. And when the day of Lord Brahma is under the influence of Sattva-guna, this influence makes the events during the day mostly in Sattva-guna. It means that people, they have sattvika intentions. They want to worship Supreme Lord Krishna, they want to praise him, Krishna defeats the demons and so on. That's the one day. And those descriptions are there in the Puranas, because all the events which are in the universe, which happened in the universe, they are in the Puranas. So that's why we have that portion about the importance of worship of the Supreme Lord. Then the days of Lord Brahma, when when Rajaguna prevails, more prominent, then at the time, because the Rajaguna prevails, people are mostly in Rajas, and they want to get some material gains and so on, and for that they worship Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva gets the primary importance. He can even defeat Lord Vishnu. Sometimes we see those descriptions in the Puranas. He can give you all the blessings. He is not Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, but Shivastu Bhagavan Swayam. He's been praised as such in the Puranas. And then in the Tamaguna also. So in the same way, because there are different days of Lord Brahma, and all those descriptions are there in the Puranas, they are mixed up. And that's why it's difficult to understand which of the deities is the highest, which of the practices are the highest. So that's why Srila Jiva Goswami, he speaks about that. And then sometimes there are mixed days of Lord Brahma, in which Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, and Tamaguna in different proportions prominent. Not just mostly Sattva-guna, Rajaguna, or Tamaguna, but all of them. And therefore, people on that days, they worship Sarasvati and different other demigods or the Pitas, forefathers, and so on. So that's why so many things are there in the Puranas. And you can get mistaken. You won't be able to understand what is the highest. And then in the 18th Anusheda, Jiva Goswami tells, these being the facts, we can understand that the Puranas mentioned in the Mathematica Purana fall into natural categories according to the nature of the days of Brahma, in which each Purana tells. But how can we define a hierarchy of these categories to determine which is superior? Our suggestion is to rank them by their modes of nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. We can then conclude that Puranas and other scriptures in the mode of goodness have the most authority to teach us about transcendental reality. This we may conclude by reasoning from such statements as Sattvam Sanjayate Jnanam, this is from Bhagavad Gita, or Sattvam et Brahma Darshanam, from the modes of goodness, knowledge develops. And in the modes of goodness, one can realize the absolute truth. So Jiva Goswami tells, yes, different descriptions, because different days of Lord Brahma, different stories, different deities, and so on. So Sattva Guna is the best Guna. So therefore we should choose the Puranic stories or deities which are in the mode of goodness. Because of that we'll get the most benefit from studying those parts. And then I think it's clear, right, that Sattva Guna is the best one. Yes, Mataji, you want to ask?
So, I mean, it just seems really funny that according to Brahma's mood, then he speaks, or he gives the Puranic knowledge in that mode. So then everybody who lives and dies in that kalpa, that's the knowledge that they have access to, and it all just depends on which mode Brahma wakes up in the morning.
You see, it's not that he tells that knowledge. No, just the Sattva Guna or Raja Guna or Tamaguna is prevails. Therefore, although Krishna is there, devotional service is there, but they more like to do karma kanda or just some austerities or just to be in the ignorance. And therefore, because they act in such a way, Puranas and Itihasas, they describe it in such a way. So, and then we see just in one place of the Puranas and Itihasas, descriptions of pure devotional service, like people, they worship Krishna. And in second part, okay, they worship Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and so on. So it's difficult to understand. See, it's not like no, it's not like Lord Brahma. He speaks about the knowledge in mostly in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. No, the mode itself works, like influence is there. Therefore, people, they choose particular deities and they choose particular activities. That's how it works. You see?
Okay, so the mode of nature which Brahma is mainly predominantly influenced by, then that mode becomes the one that is going to be prominent in that particular kalpa. And
Yes. And
then
therefore,
they'll also be attracted to the Puranas in that mode.
yes.
But
Yes.
in any kalpa, all three modes of Puranas are available?
Yes.
Always there?
Yes, but you see, like different processes are available. In each and every Purana, you have also Harikatha, or the knowledge about how to worship Supreme Lord is one of the part of the Puranas. See, it should be there. Ishanukatha is called, but still people are not attracted to that portion of the Purana. They just want to mostly worship Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, Skanda, Kartikeya, Durga Devi, and so on. Because the influence of the mode is there in their hearts. That's their most prominent inclination to do that, like that. See?
And then, Prabhu, you know how we hear different versions of similar pastimes? Is it that in the different Puranas they have the same, they may tell the same pastime, but they tell it in a different way? One which is more orienting one towards worshiping the Lord, one is more passionate, and one is more ignorant?
Yes, something like that. Because same pastimes, they like every day you might do deity worship or chanting japa, and in one day you're mostly on the mode of sattva guna, then rajaguna or tamaguna, and then same activity but different results in different ways. Like when you're in sattva guna, you can chant your japa like 1.5 to 2 hours. In tamaguna you can chant 5 hours. You see, like that. So that's why description is there. Mataji Prabhupada Priya, she chanted 2 hours holy name very nicely, and then she was chanting like this 5 hours. Different descriptions, same activity. You see, because of the different modes. Yes.
You know, because sometimes we hear a pastime, some aspect of a pastime of Krishna even. This happened in our Bhaktivedanta class. One of the teachers was saying some pastime of Krishna, and we were just like, what? Like, no, you know, it was so distasteful. And then after we were thinking, where did that come from? And we were thinking maybe it came from one of these other Puranas, like in the mode of ignorance or something.
Yes, exactly. This is different days of Lord Brahma, when mode of ignorance prevails, and then Krishna, he takes subordinate role to the different demigods, different deities. That's why he's like in Shabala Upanishad we can read how Lord Shiva, he kills Nrsimhadev. Actually kills Nrsimhadev. And then somebody says, wow, it's so nice. Like, the Shaivites, they tell, oh yes, Shivastu Bhagavan Svayam, not Krishnastu Bhagavan Svayam. But Baldevida Pushna in his one of his books, I don't remember, Pramir Ratnavari, I think he tells that we should reject those explanations because they belong to the days of Lord Brahma, when he is under the influence of Lord of Tamaguna or Rajaguna. We cannot accept it as authoritative, because in these descriptions, Krishna, he just plays the role. He just subordinates himself to different deities, like that. Okay. So.
Is it that all knowledge? So I'm just trying to clarify. I think you maybe said this already, but I'm a little dull. It's not that all all the knowledge comes through Brahma, is it, or is it?
Yes. Not all the knowledge goes to Lord Brahma. Some of the mantras, they come by the mercy of the great sages who are empowered by Lord Brahma. Yes, as we already quoted that. Yuganten Harhitan Vedam Sitihasa Maha Shanaha Lepireta Pasa Purvam Anugnatach Swam Huva. Whenever some when at the end of Yuga, few portions of the Vedas were hidden, Lord Brahma, he ordered different sages to perform tapasya and to manifest those hymns of the Vedas. So it's possible. And because of that, as I said, that some corruption might be there. You might receive not a proper mantra. Like in the internet, you might want to download some file, but then you go to some bogus site, some false site, and then you will get not a proper file, something corrupted. And therefore, Vyasadeva, as an editor in the beginning of the Kali Yuga, he just sorts out, is it proper or not proper, finally, to give us the real version of the Vedic knowledge. And then, especially, he gives it to his disciples so that they would write it down, because otherwise also some problem might come. That's his job, to sort out what is proper, what is not proper, to sort out different parts of the Vedas, and also to condense it. Like some part of the Vedas which are not relevant for the Kali Yuga, and which can cause the misuse of the Vedic knowledge in Kali Yuga because of the consciousness of the people in Kali Yuga. Therefore, he just hides those parts of the Vedic knowledge from us.
Sorry, who does that?
Vyasadeva, Srila Vyasadeva.
Vyasadeva, okay.
Yes.
I was just thinking, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kavya, that it starts with Brahma because it's revealed to Brahma, but then Brahma empowers other sages.
Yes, like that.
I guess Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa is an exception because he's an incarnation of Krishna. It's not that he's empowered by Brahma. He's independent.
No. He's also, we know that he also had the spiritual master Narada Muni. We can tell that this is his pastime. And Narada Muni, he was empowered by Lord Brahma. We read it in the second canto, 7th chapter. Like
he follows the system.
Yes, he follows the system, yes. Krishna told him that, like Lord Brahma told Narada Muni, I gave you this knowledge which is known as Shrimad Bhagavatam, Tammeva Vipuli Kuru, and you should expand it. Like the abridged version of Shrimad Bhagavatam, about 300 verses, which was given by Lord Brahma to Narada Muni, and then Narada Muni, he expanded it also. And then he gave it this instruction to Srila Vyasadeva, Samadhi nanu smarat advijivshatam, go into the trance of Bhakti Yoga, Samadhi, and reveal the pastimes of the Supreme Lord as they are. And as we'll see, what Srila Vyasadeva did, he took the Shrimad Bhagavata as the blueprint, like Bhagavata Purana, which was one of the 18 Puranas. And then he took it and Kritva Anukramya, he expanded it and he sorted out all the pastimes so that it would be the form which we see right now, Srimad Bhagavatam. And actually, he did it according to his vision. He saw in the spiritual vision, he saw this Srimad Bhagavatam as the manifestation of the Supreme Lord. Like sages who can see, they are known as mantra drashtaraha, that can see the mantras actually. Vedic seers, not just hear the mantras, but see them as they are. So Srila Vyasadeva, by his devotion, he saw Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he saw, okay, this is the proper Bhagavatam, and then that's what we have right now. And then he changed it, he edited this previous version of Srimad Bhagavatam up to the standard of the eternal Bhagavatam which he saw in the spiritual life, spiritual world, like that. That's the explanation which is given by Jiva Goswami. Okay.
So, Prabhu,
yes.
Bhagavad Purana is the one of 18 Purana.
Yes, it's one of the 6 Sattvika Puranas, and it was there in its original state. But then Srila Vyasadeva, he edited this original Purana and he expanded it into Bhagavatam, which we know right now. You see?
So we can say that Mahabharata is Itihas and Bhagavad Purana it is a 5th Veda.
No, Purana, Itihasas, both they are called Panchama Vedamam. Right.
Okay, Pancham Veda.
Yes.
Purana and Itihas Pancham Veda.
Purana, Itihasa, both they are Panchama Vedam. And then out of Puranas and Itihasas, we know that Srimad Bhagavatam is the Nigamakalpataror Galitam Phalam, is the ripened fruit of all the Vedas. All Puranas, Itihasas, everything. Sarva Vedi Itihasanam Saram Saram Samudritam. In the first canto, 3rd chapter, it is said that in Srimad Bhagavatam you see the Saram Saram. Saram means the essence of the essence of everything which is there in Puranas and Itihasas. So basically one book, one and one, like like you, for example, you get this Airtel SIM card and you have this some plan like unlimited phone calls, unlimited internet, and so on, one-on-one. So in the same way, Srimad Bhagavatam, everything is there in just one book. Srimad Bhagavatam Mahamuni Krite.
Prabhu, Pancham Veda? Srimad Bhagavatam?
Yes, as I said, it's part of the Puranas and Itihasas. But it's not just part of the Puranas and Itihasas, the Panchama Vedam. Everything which is there in all Puranas and all Itihasas is there in just one book, Srimad Bhagavatam, but in the condensed way. And then, if you have devotion, if you serve Krishna nicely, all the knowledge of the Vedic scripture will expand in your heart through the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? And Jiva Goswami, he's going to prove it just in next Anuchetas. Okay? Okay? So let's stop now. We have anyway, two short paragraphs. We'll do it tomorrow. Okay? Because at the end of this 18th Anucheta, Jiva Goswami, he brings us to the message of what actually the book we are looking for is not the Vedas, not the just Puranas or Itihasas, not Vedanta Sutra, is the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then he is going to prove why Srimad Bhagavatam is self-sufficient book, why we can get everything, all the knowledge, just from Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay? But we'll do it tomorrow. Okay? So, thank you very much for your attention, for your questions, for your attending the seminar. We'll continue tomorrow. Grantaraja Shri Tattva-sandarbha ki jai. Grantaraja Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Sveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari. So, thank you, dear devotees. Hare Krishna, thank you.
Prabhu, we are really relishing your class. Slowly, we are going inside deep in the book. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for your nice class.
It's just by the mercy of my Guru.
Grateful to you, Prabhu.
It's just by the mercy of my Guru Maharaj. And I remember how I was in the same way studying this under God Pranhana Prabhu. It was such a... Actually, I have the recording of all those classes. It's 80 lectures, each one 1 hour. And then you can hear all the discussions. It's so nice. Like, actually, it's very, very short.
And Mataji is asking so many questions to you and you giving answer one by one. That is also very relishing. We are learning something from both of you.
Yes. Actually,
I appreciate that you dedicated so much time in your life to understanding these shastras so deeply and remembering and memorizing verses. And it's very inspiring. You're a true Brahmin.
No, Mataji. I'm just a humble servant.
Prabhu is very nice devotee. By his appearance, we understand this.
Just please don't speak on
that.
Yes. Okay. Just it's only by the mercy of my Guru Maharaj, and also like I remember Maitreya Rishi. You can read the 381 Srimad Bhagavatam. When 381, when Vidura asks questions to Maitreya Rishi, he told us, it's only because of you. He tells that Bhagavan Kirtimala, that because of you, I can speak the verses from the Shastras. It's like a mala, like the garland of the verses. They are like one by one. It's very nice garland. But I wouldn't be able to do that without you. So if I can do anything, it's just because of your attention, your blessings, your mercy. So thank you very much, dear devotees. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna.